Reprinting. This is episode 550. I'm so excited this week to share the video from our March Slow Flowers member meetup featuring author Teresa J. Speight as our special guest. Teresa, along with many of our Slow Flowers members who appear in the pages of her new book, Black Flora, joined me, and we just had a wonderful celebration of this book. Black Flora is a book that is long overdue, and it showcases the excellence and contributions of Black flower farmers and floral designers throughout the country. It's just been released by Bloom Imprint, our sister company. This book recognizes the rich, beautiful, complex, and diverse narrative being told by African Americans in today's floral marketplace. Based in the Washington, D.C. area, garden writer, podcaster, and blogger Teri Speight interviewed 25 Black floral personalities to learn how they have rooted their lives in the floral world. Black Flora's pages are filled with more than 90 vivid photographs illustrating the talent and artistry of Black floral designers and creative directors coast to coast. There are stories and images from cutting gardens and flower farms, rural acreage to urban lots. Each profile explores family legacy and professional influences as women and men of varied backgrounds and generations share the journey that led to their careers in wedding and event design, botanical art, horticultural therapy, cut flower farming, entrepreneurship, and activism. And the common thread is flowers. I'm so pleased to introduce you to this project and for you to meet Teri as we discuss and also introduce many of the creatives featured in the pages of Black Flora. Let's jump right in and meet Teri Speight, and I'll save our sponsor thank yous to the end of this show. We are here to talk about this amazing project, Black Flora, that I was privileged to work on with Teri Speight. Before we get started, I would like to just tell everyone, Teri and I have known each other for years through an organization used to be called Garden Writers Association. Now it's called Garden Com.
My journey has been lifelong from a child. I've always been a little tomboy, and my dad would always allow me to only water because that's what girls did. And I used to watch him with true dedication and love. And in my mind, I thought, I'm going to do this one day, and no one will be able to tell me no. And I pretty much did. I mean, and my dad, before he passed, still much love to both my parents. Before he passed, we were buddies. We would argue about Latin terminology on the carport. His thing was a stibly. Mine was, oh, no, it's a stilby. But there was a lot of love there, you know? And even as a mom, you know, my daughters were in the garden. I ran a small organic farm. I was a founding farmer for the Ite family CSA in Stafford County, Virginia.
All right.
And, you know, it's just there. And I knew the beauty and the joy came from my roots. When I was married and we bought our first house in Virginia, Fredericksburg, my mom, when she came to visit, she goes, that's a sassafras tree. We used to take the root and make sassafras tea in our house in DC, but she knew plants, amazingly enough. And so did my dad. So it's always been in my blood, from sharecropping to my great-great-grandfather growing produce and selling it to Allen University in South Carolina. I mean, it's there. Mm-hmm. Genetic remembrance. That is what, in interviewing all of my peeps, that is one thing I think collectively we all realize. This is in our blood. It's in our hands. So that's my story. And now what do I do now? Anything I can. Podcasts, write, I speak. I co-chair of a community garden because I want people to understand that, in all honesty, we grow more than collards. And without the flowers, we're not eating, people. So, and with those flowers, you can cut them. And they are there in your house in a vase long after the salads are gone.
You got no argument from me on that. I love that. Teri, we're going to just maybe jump right into the slides of the book, because we want to try to say hello to everybody who's in the book, who's joined us today. These are the folks who contributed to the book. And Teri, of course, is the author. We had a beautiful foreword by Abra Lee, a epilogue by Mariah Towner, and then Dawn Trimble is the illustrator who we commissioned a piece for the end papers. So everyone will see that when you order the book, and you can read more about these folks. But I just wanted to acknowledge the dream team who created Black Flora. Okay, here we go. Teri, you want to introduce NICOLE, and we'll say hi to her really quickly.
NICOLE is a force. I hope that she's on this call. NICOLE, that cover brought tears to my eyes, really. She is such a force, and she's very, just in meeting, she is very, very not like I'm all that in a bag of chips. She's very graceful in the acceptance of her skill set. NICOLE, unmute yourself and share with us what was behind that cover.
Hi.
Hi, NICOLE.
Hi. So, yeah, it was at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was just feeling really uninspired and not very creative at all. I had been busting my butt at my full-time job. And so anyway, pandemic hit and everything stopped. And so I just felt like I needed to create something, and went for a walk in my yard and just picked things and assembled them. So yeah, just.
She makes it sound so easy, right, Teri?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is your yard always just in bloom like that?
Well, here in Hawaii, growing season is year-round, so pretty lucky.
Yeah. We are lucky. And NICOLE, this photo of you that is in the book is part of a styled shoot. You don't look like a 1960s love child all the time, do you?
No. It was, again, during the pandemic, Hawaii was hit really hard with tourism, a lack thereof. And so we just wanted to find a way to drum up, interest in some of the small towns around the island. So one of the towns was Hawaii, which is has more of a hippie vibe to it, 60s, so 70s. So that was the inspiration for the shoot. We needed something to do, it was hard for a while. So
I love this photo of you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being a special part of this book. We are going to move quickly because we're trying to get to everyone. So thanks for joining us. Also, you get the prize for getting up earliest, NICOLE.
Yeah.
Teri, you want to talk a little bit about your conversations with GINA?
Before or after we laughed, GINA and I always have a good time together. And GINA kind of puts a stamp on the fact that you can do this no matter what. She went from a powerhouse job to a flower house job, so to speak. GINA, you want to share a little bit more about the journey?
Boy, has it been a journey. Boy, it's definitely been an e-ticket, or what they used to have at Disneyland. They used to have those, those ticket books. I'm starting to date myself, but anyway, yeah, I mean, like Teresa, I grew up around flowers. I grew up around plants, and when I was a little girl, I used to be in the backyard with my mom, and she had an extensive garden. I mean, she grew collard greens, of course, but she had flowers and had fruit trees, and she had chickens. And this was all in the Bay Area too, She was a Georgia farm girl, and she brought it out to California. So I grew up with being around that. And my aunt, her sister, also had a beautiful rose garden in the backyard of her house here in Sacramento. So I always grew up around the love of houseplants, the love of plants, flowers. My mom was very meticulous about the lawn. I mean, she was a lawn snob, and I think I'm a lawn snob too. But if anybody saw the lawn at my house, they were like, "Wow, really?"
That's why she does flowers. It's
Exactly.
not about the grass.
Exactly. So, you know, just learning from the two of them. I mean, my mom would like go to nurseries and I would go with her. And if she saw a little piece of something on the ground, she would root it. I don't know how, I didn't know you could root like cuttings from roses, but my mom was able to do that. So, you know, I went into a high-powered corporate job and did that, and then I fell into wedding planning. And I think back when I was a wedding planner, when I started in 2008, why I got into it. It was because I wanted to design. I wanted to be around flowers, but unfortunately, it took me to about 2017 to really realize, no, flowers is it. And so I started taking floral courses at the local community college, and the rest is history. And it's so interesting. Back in October 2019, I said, okay, I'm going to cut off the wedding planning. I'm stepping out on faith. And I'm so glad I did.
I have to read the rest of the story in the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Gina, thanks for joining us. We're going to move to the next slide.
I can talk about Kristen because let me tell you, I ordered one of his prints online. It is at the Framers right now.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh my goodness. And his little book I bought for a friend of mine. He has a little book to take notes in, because since I've written the book, there have been several people that are like, how do you do that? I'm like, you need this book to take notes in. So they are. He was a hoot to talk to. Very, very real. This is really his passion, really. And his prints are amazing. You must visit his site online. I'm so glad that he was a part of this book, really.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you were basically trying to chase him down between all his high profile TV and, you know, event gigs. And he was pretty honest with you about his path and his journey. And I think that you brought that out in everybody that you interviewed.
Same thing with AISHA. She is busy today because she had to plant some things and get some things done. And so she texted me early this morning and she's like, I'm going to miss it. I'm like, oh, do not apologize. Your job is to make sure that you continue on your journey. And it's most people that are growing from seed or plug that are cut flower farmers, they know now is the time to be busy. So from a cut flower farmer standpoint, it's that time where everyone is in the dirt, you know?
Yeah. But can we all wear these hot pink boots when we're out growing in the field like AISHA?
Oh my goodness. It's like every time I see those, it's like, I need those boots.
Oh my goodness. I love it. All right. Well, who's our next person? MIMO. Is MIMO on?
I hope she is.
Oh, there she is. Hi, MIMO.
Hello, everybody.
Thanks for saying that you'll be part of this project. And I know you and Teri you had a friendship before you started working on this book, Teri, didn't you?
Well, I had been following her, but to get to know her was an experience. And to get to see her interacting with her son, oh my goodness. Make my heart melt. I'm a grandmom, so make my heart melt, MIMO. But MIMO, you basically are the shepherd for so many cut flower farmers, florists. Share with us why. Why is this so important to you?
You know, I used to be in social work, and when I was in New York City, and really, this is just an extension of that. You know, I left social work, became a flower farmer, and to give people flowers is just everything. To see what flowers do, how they transform lives. It's all of that in a bag of chips, you know? And I've been doing flowers for about 30 years, over 30 years now. And, you know, yeah, I go back in this industry a little bit now for flower farmers.
And you, like me, ran a farm before stepping into this journey. And is this journey not the most rewarding thing? Oh,
It is. I've only farmed flowers, and I had another farm before this farm that I'm currently on, but I've only ever farmed flowers. Yeah.
Tell us about this photo, Mimo. This is like you're swimming in all your bouquets. Is it from the farmer's market?
And that is actually in the cooler. That is a picture of the cooler just packed. And we're ready to go to farmer's market, and I just squatted down in there and took this picture, and someone snapped this picture here on the farm. It's one of my favorites. It says everything that I feel.
I love it. Well, a number of people quoted that Teri quoted in the book also referred to you as an inspiration for them and their work.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my passion. I just don't know what else I'd be doing.
I love it. Okay. Well, we all have to make a pilgrimage to St. Louis again. I've been there once and I've got to see your farm once, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, come on back. Come on back for sure.
Okay, great.
I'm here.
hey.
Hello, good morning, ladies. How are you? Happy Friday, everybody.
Hi.
Oh,
Teri, what do you want
Hi.
to tell us about this conversation you had?
she got me fired up, I'll tell you that. It made me, I'm very proud to know her. I understand the importance of postal petals. I understand how flowers took her to a whole different level. She's like social justice in a vase, for real. You know,
I love that phrase.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your presence, for real.
Thank you.
How's Postal Petals doing? You good?
Postal Petals is doing really, really well. We're looking at all kinds of opportunities for expansion. It's in particular figuring out ways that we can better serve the community. And I'm absolutely in love with this company. As you know, the way that we engage with flowers is really to promote it as just a wellness experience and an opportunity for people to really build a personal relationship with the process of arranging flowers and help people to really appreciate the beauty of flowers as a form of, self-care and mindfulness. And so, we just did our very first community event now that outside is open. And it was really a really beautiful local event here in LA where we did yoga and sound bath meditation and then flower arranging, and not a single person left without saying how incredibly touched they were through the whole day, and how they just never saw flowers as, they never recognized the healing properties of flowers before. And so I'm really excited to really explore a lot more ways that we can start to root the business a lot more in the community, with both introducing it as this, wellness tool, but also helping to get people's hands in the soil and start to introduce farming and all those things to members of the community. So I'm ecstatic about Postal Petals. I'm so honored to be able to build this company and ideate around how to touch lives and build community. So I'm excited. So Postal Petals is thriving, and I am happy for it.
We're really happy that you're in the book and part of a different way of interacting with flowers.
Well, thank you, Deborah. And you've been supportive of me and Postal Petals from the very beginning. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and all of the work that you do to support not just the floral industry, but particularly Black farmers and Black florists. And so I really, really do appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Talia.
Yeah,
well, I'm so glad that you were part of it. And Teri has, many more books in her, because these conversations had to get condensed, right, Teri?
Oh yeah. And the funny part about it is I'm loving the way that Talia has tapped into community, because our community really has never been exposed to this before.
Yeah.
So hopefully this door is open,
Mhm.
and the possibilities, the realization of the possibility will be endless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is just the beginning. Teri, you were just talking about NATASHA and your conversations with her. I just have to give a shout out to Nisha Blancas, our social media manager for Slow Flowers. Kate went to meet with NATASHA and did the photography for the chapter. And so we were just giving congrats to Nisha for her beautiful work, but what a subject to work with, right?
Yeah, and talk about meaningful. I think, I know at one point in our chat, both of us were crying. We started talking about our moms. But she really reflects what the healing power of flowers can do. That inner glow in this picture, thank you for capturing that oh so well. She went through a rough patch, and flowers helped give her a reason, like her quote says, to get up in the morning. And I too understand that. She was very, very clear on what flowers meant to her. And I really hope people will buy this book and that maybe somebody will win one of the two books, because just reading her story, we can all, if you really think about it, understand how meaningful flowers are. Yeah, she's awesome.
Is HERMON on? I really love this photo of her.
Yes. Well, if hopefully she's on. If not, we have a coffee date planned, because she's right here in the DMV. And she was very honest about how she grew up surrounded by flowers in a whole nother country, no less. And yet she never put it out of her mind. What she did do was look into her community and realize we're missing something. I've got the skill set, I'm going to fill the need. And she makes some beautiful arrangements. Beautiful.
Yeah, but I want to just say too that I thought the mix of we were very fortunate to have a diverse mix of talents in Black Flora, from growers to designers who do, like in HERMON's case, mainly personal flowers every day, event flowers versus retail. And we have some people, in all aspects of floristry. So I think back to your point in your original forward, Teri, about wanting to show future generations the possibilities. I feel like this book has really exemplified all the facets of a profession or a life in horticulture, floriculture, and all related fields.
It's imagining the possibilities. And even during our unintentional period of pausing, her sons helped her deliver flowers. So it's not just, it's embracing family and community to make this work.
Tosh and Victoria, I know they're on today. There they are. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Oh, got the whole family in there. Little Titus too. Teri, talk about your conversation with this dynamic team, this wonderful couple.
Number one, if they ever come to DC, Titus is staying with me. I don't care where y'all stay, Titus is mine. That for that period of time. They were absolutely awesome, just powerful. I think I've told everyone that has chatted with me about the book how these young people chose to not do corporate America. They chose to be connected with the earth, all from an experience from a Mother's Day week, prepping flowers. Guys, I love you. Absolutely amazing. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and why are you inside? Y'all should be planting seeds.
Oh, well.
We have a cold
Yeah, we got a cold snap coming in. So we decided to push some planting back. We had a lot of planting to do, but
yeah, it's going to be like 19 degrees and like thunderstorms. So the weather's going to be really bad here.
And you're in North Carolina, so it could also be 70 degrees.
Very true. It was like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, I think we were like in 80. So yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We're so happy that you're part of the book. I'm so happy that also you have something going on today that's kind of cool. You want to tell everyone what it is?
Oh yeah, it's our wedding anniversary.
Yay!
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
I love that you joined us for that. There's so many wonderful, also interviewing. You're the only couple really featured in the book. Also just the back and forth of how you are a team and that you're so, combined in your effort to build something for your family and your children. It's really inspiring. And I know Teri responded to that too.
Oh, yes. And I found it refreshing and interesting because your children have always been by your side. So talk about generational wealth. They are getting firsthand education and knowledge of seeing mama and daddy do it. And prayerfully, they will continue that thread. That's awesome.
Hey, thank you.
And thank you all for doing that as parents, really.
So I know you're kind of local celebrities at the farmers market. Have you started sharing the book around with folks?
Yeah.
No,
It's getting passed around a little bit.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's so surreal. Like, so this is our 5-year wedding anniversary, but we've only been farming for 5 years. And so we never would have imagined. I mean, we met you, Deb, and like MIMO. Those were the only 2 people in the world that we knew existed, you know, and it's just so crazy how much can happen in 5 years. So
Yeah, that's great. MIMO, you want to talk about was that at Raleigh when we all met?
Yeah. So I mean, that was just like, first it was like MIMO, like, you know, she's just awesomeness within herself, and you know, it's been an amazing ride. I just hold on, whatever you're doing, just push a little further and it'll pay off, I promise you.
Well, you're the future. You're the future, and that little Titus is the far distant future, but he's such a mini me to Taj. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And those muscles, his muscles crack me up.
Well, congratulations for hanging in there for 5 years as flower farmers. People think it's like as beautiful as this photo, and we know it's not. That was when you were all like cleaned up for the camera. It's gritty work.
Oh no, we just glad to be a part of this. Like you said, MIMO.
Thank you. Thank everyone.
Yeah, MIMO was the first Black flower farmers outside of ourselves that we had met, and it was kind of like us 2 in a fishbowl for a while, and now we're just glad to be embraced by everybody else that we've met in the past year or 2.
Yeah, let's make that fishbowl full.
Yeah,
we trying to jump back out into the ocean.
There you
Awesome.
go.
Thanks, Cottons. We love you guys.
Thank you.
Miss KIARA, I think she's on.
I'm here.
Hey.
Teri, you want to talk a little bit about our wonderful designer, KIARA Hancock?
You mean the forest that is now has a space? Share, because I'm so proud of you, because you were very hesitant at first, and you said you told me what the plan was down the road, and look at you now.
I know. Sometimes you just have to put stuff in the universe, I find, speak it out loud, and a lot of times that's enough to make it happen. So yeah, I got my first space outside of my garage. I'm very happy. My husband is very happy. We're all very happy. So I'm working on getting that done, and I'm planning on maybe having like a Mother's Day like workshop. And so it'll be like my studio space that I work my events in, but also space that I can rent out or host things for other people.
Oh my gosh. And tell everyone where it is, KIARA.
It's in Tacoma. So I live south of Seattle. And I work a lot in Seattle. That's where most of my business is, but it was important for me to be close to home. I have 2 kids who I like to be involved with every day. And my event business revolves around them and not the other way around. So I'm like 10 minutes from my house now, which is great. And they can come with me. It's like a whole family affair. I'm happy to have them in the space with me.
Teri, I love this quote that you included in the essay about KIARA, that you kind of sums up her personality. Like, forge your own path. Don't wait for someone to forge it for you.
Yeah. I started this 5 years ago, so I'm not a spring chicken either, but I just, I put one foot in front of the other like we often do. And I figured it out. And that takes a lot of grit, I think, when people do that, and it takes a lot of perseverance, and I have both in spades, so we're good.
You definitely represent making a way out of no way, knowing your story when we chatted and looking at you now, it's like, you go girl. That is just awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Kiara. And I'm close to you, and I'm going
I
to come
know.
down to that.
Come down
I don't know if I can come
anytime,
on
girl.
Mother's Day, but I'll come and bring lunch.
You're
and then
invited
get to
anytime.
tour your space. I love it. Okay, great. Thanks for joining us, Kiara. Oh, Miss Hannah. Gosh, it's the little Seattle celebration here. All my neighbors. Hi, Hannah.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. What do you want to say, Teri?
Well, we had a good time, didn't we, Anna?
Yes, I loved our conversation, Teri. You gave me so much to think about. That whole weekend after we talked, I was just, wow, like just you reframed so much for me. That wow, it was good. And it was
That's
fun.
the power of putting words, as Kiara said, putting words out into the universe and really understanding, wow, I really did this.
Mm.
And I mean, I love your space, your vision. Has any of that vision come to fruition yet?
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Yes, my the back of our house right now is a construction site. We're putting up a studio, or our old garage once stood. So I'm very excited, but it's also like my whole world right now is turned on its head because half of my garden is like, which I don't know why I didn't anticipate that was what was going to happen. But as they kept digging, I was like, oh, okay. Well, it's going to be a different kind of summer around here. But yeah, it's going to be very good. We're building up from the ground. And we are going to have just a little 300 square foot studio space with a loft, but it'll be a place where, like what Kiara was saying, I've been working, you know, a little bit in our garden. I have a space, a little bit on our porch. I have a space. It's here everywhere. And it'll be a one collected, like, place where I can be and where I can host classes, and it'll be a big improvement for me. And also my event work is expanding, and I'll be able to make that, you know, have a bigger footprint without feeling like I'm cramped in. So it'll be really good. But this spring is going to be a little bit nutty.
That photo of you in your lush garden, it looks like you're on a, you know, tropical acreage, and you are right in the city in a tiny lot, and you maximize every square inch of soil. And I hope that those plants survive the construction.
Yeah, they are. It's like mostly all the annual stuff back there, you know, things that I grow from seed, or, you know, every year it changes up. But yeah, that's just not going to happen this year. But the good thing is it's like I'm starting from scratch, you know, and so that's a blank slate, and that's good. I'm going to start using more vertical, you know, I'm going to have arches and things, and I'll be able to put perennials in. Like I have this, you know, I've ordered all these roses. That thing that happens when you order plants like in advance and you kind of forget, and then they start showing up on your doorstep. So they've started arriving, and like I have to put them somewhere safe. But it's like, oh, what was I doing? I just didn't think that it was going to be quite so chaotic out there. But now this time next year, I'll have roses. I'm going to have some climbing roses. It's going to be very good. It's just,
awesome.
You got to get through. So it's going to be good.
Hannah, I'm so glad that you're part of the Slow Flowers community and that you said yes to this book. I know you and Teri had a great connection. I feel kind of lucky that I can see you more often, and this new space sounds fabulous. Congratulations.
Thank you. Teri, it was so good talking to you. I really enjoyed it. And when I get back to DC, I hope that we get to meet.
I'm hoping that we do as well.
Miss AISHA, I love this photo so much. Teri, talk a little bit about your fellow Virginian.
Well, I'm so glad, number one, that she's in Virginia now, and I'm an avid follower of hers on Instagram. And every time I see something that she's done, it takes my breath away. How are you today?
I am doing so well. I'm so excited to see you guys again, and just I'm so grateful to you for giving me this opportunity to be in the book and to find other people like me.
I'm doing some traveling because I need to see each and every one of them and give them a hug personally, for real.
I mean, that's a good point. It was COVID when we worked on Black Flora. So it was all virtual Zoom calls and phone calls for all of us, right?
Yes. And I feel like things have just exploded after that. So many things actually have changed since the pandemic. The gift was for me to appreciate my time more in my time with my family. So I'm actually taking less weddings, being a little bit more specific and intentional about what I take. But I also, since the book has come out, I've started a new business. And in service to my wedding community, I am offering some services to other wedding florists specifically. So just keep them busy and evolving and changing.
Love it. This arrangement in the photo is so vivid and joyful. And I feel like that just kind of glow of those flowers reflects the glow that you have. I mean, it's just, I don't think you probably do very many dull looking arrangements. You like color.
It's actually, I love moody colors, and my team is like, girl, everybody does not want those colors. Like, I like everything with a lot of browns and purples and deep reds and stuff. So I'm doing this for the people.
That's true. In the book, the spread with your designs is mostly wedding, and those are mostly whites, a lot of white palette with a little bit of blues. So you're kind of you can work with any palette. Yeah,
I do what I have to do. Because I think I love the business side of it as much as anything. And so I love for, to understand what's happening in the market and then dialing into that but keeping my own touch, but really being able to respond to what people want. I think that's our job.
Yeah, it's a business.
Yeah.
Well, there's another kind of thing that you guys talked about in the book about your mentorships of young designers of color who want to apprentice with you. And I really was glad that Teri included that.
Yeah. And so I always do. And some of those mentorships, I think I mentioned before, they can be short, just to at least give people an exposure. It can be, a 3-month period. It can be a summer. And some people didn't come to me because they wanted to be florists. They may be just wanted to be in the events industry, but you can't be around flowers and not want to learn about them. You gotta want to get your you want to get your hands on them.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, thanks so much, Aisha. Really great to see you. We're too far apart, but I'll see you when I get to the East Coast too, I'm sure.
Yes,
Teri,
yes.
Take it away.
And the funny thing about KAIFA is my cousin introduced me to her, and then I saw her at a slow flower event here in DC, and then for her to be in the book was quite the honor. How you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Absolutely wonderful. And we also kind of are stepping in. Well, I'm stepping into her shoes actually, as representative of the Botanic Garden for National Garden Club. But share with us briefly, what do flowers really mean to you? You've made a business and a profession out of this, touching many, many hearts and souls, from seniors to disabled folk.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you both. Deborah, thank you. And it was in 2018 that we met when the conference was here in DC, and probably when I met you as well, Teri. And you just creating that space and opportunity for folks. And so I'm always grateful. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all for including me in this book. For those of you who haven't read the book or don't know my story, I'm not a grower. I'm not a designer, but I'm a lover of flowers, and pretty much like the intersection of MIMO's and Talia's experience. I was a former social worker, just always recognizing the power and connection of plants and flowers. I always sort of wove that in to my practice, from working with little people to older adults. Did a lot of community-based gardening and growing that community here in DC, and recognizing no matter how intentional we were in terms of creating accessible spaces where people could engage with this experience, that everyone was not able to do that. And so one day, and I won't go into a long story, Spirit said you have to take the experience to where people are. And particularly, you know, vulnerable ones and marginalized ones. We talk about, you know, in our communities that, you know, embracing flowers is sort of as a, okay, you know, that's either a luxury or folks not understanding the importance of having them in their presence. So from social work, I transitioned to being a horticultural therapist, which is really, again, an intersection of my service work and restorative work and healing work and empowering folks through flowers. And so my additional niche is that I work with all of you beautiful, wonderful growers and or designers in terms of sourcing probably about 70% of what I use in terms of my work. And so reimagining is a lot of what I do, recovery from your all's beautiful events, so that truly the extended principle of slow flowers for me is allowing a flower to serve fully out. Now that I'm connected to particularly many of you growers, the investment, you know, the value, that work, and just appreciating that and honoring that. And I feel like I honor that by allowing what you all produce and what you create to continue to provide joy and healing to communities that otherwise would not make that connection. So that's my work. I love this photo because it represents my relationship with growers who have been so wonderful to me here in the DMV. HERMON, who's in the book, has been wonderful and just been a wonderful growing community, and bringing awareness to farmers and designers that this is another expression for their flowers has been a wonderful experience as well. So
we're so grateful that you're in the book representing horticultural therapy, because that's another professional opportunity. Absolutely. That you had to kind of do the hard work to even figure out it was an option for you later. Exactly. in your career. I'll just comment a little bit about Whitney. We had one special profile that our friend Mariah Towner wrote, and Mariah is based in Atlanta, and she said she was going to write the epilogue for Black Flora, and she said, I have a friend who's a flower farmer. Are you okay if I profile her? So I don't think, Teri, you and Whitney have met. Whitney is definitely a interesting path that a lot of people can relate to, it moving from food farming to flower farming, and basically land security for Black farmers. And she does a lot of advocacy and education. So her story is really great.
Oh, I'm planning on meeting her though, because that's
right. You're going to Atlanta.
Yeah, she's a little force. Reading her story, and I do follow her, and it's like, whoa, I can't wait to meet her. I cannot.
And her farm is, I think her farm is called Sunbird Flowers. So, Miss D. What do you want to say, Teri?
D, I've met. D and I are going to be together in April.
Hi, D.
Down at the Norfolk Botanic Garden, and D and I kind of think alike on a lot of different ways. And D, you mean so much. Thank you for being a part of this journey.
Thank you both.
So what's going on in your garden right now? You're in close to the coast, so you are probably getting seedlings coming up.
Yeah, I have like Orlea on the verge of flowering right now. I've got the first status coming up. Ranunculus are on the way. I've got anemones and tulips already. Everything is waking up, but we're also having a cold snap tomorrow. So I'm like, oh no, should I cover? Should I not cover? I'd taken all my, little low tunnel covers.
Oh dear.
It's off already. And I'm like, oh, now I have to go dig everything back out, all the frost covers and all that. I thought we were done, but everything it's that time. It's go time here. Things are really starting to to come right along, and it's exciting.
Well, you're doing something really exciting, and I think in the slow flowers world, and that is that you've started a group for Black cut flower farmers. Can you talk about that? And Teri mentioned it in the story, but I think it was maybe an early idea.
Yeah,
It's real now, though.
yes. There are, I don't even know how many of us, 20, maybe 25 of us, and we have a little Instagram group going. You know, MIMO's in it, Taj is in it, a bunch of the other, as whoever we can find, you know, we add them in. And I have to give special thanks to AISHA. She was instrumental in getting a lot of people who I didn't know about added to the group, including MIMO. We got to have a Zoom call last year with everybody, and that was great. It's really great to have this large, diverse group of people with so much knowledge that just want to help and see each other succeed. And through Teri, you know, I've had the opportunity to talk with like Talia, because she wants to, you know, work with Black flower farmers. And it's just been really interesting watching this community grow, and I'm really happy. But yeah, so everybody's just been really great, really friendly, wanting to help one another, you know, showcasing opportunities that come up, connecting us with other florists and growers. And I mean, it's a really nice thing to have.
Great. Well, let's do a story on that for slow flowers, Dee. We'll talk offline, but it's just, to use all these ridiculous gardening metaphors that Teri and I use in our writing. It's like the seed has germinated into this huge crop now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been talking a little bit to people about mentorship, because I get people reaching out to me, and I'm sure they do too, you know, young people of color that are looking for opportunities for mentorship from people who have more experience, who want to get into the industry. They see it's a possibility now. And I'm sure with the book coming out, you know, there's going to be even more exposure for people to see what their options are and know that, you know, we're here, we're part of this community, and you can, you know, you can join along with us, and we'd love to have you.
And the beauty of it is I've got at least 2 other names to share with you, Dee. When people find out, people of color, when they find out that flower farming is an option, they will reach out. That's powerful.
Yeah. Teri and I we met in person, like she was saying, at the Norfolk Botanical Garden here, which was built by Black women and Black men. So that was a really powerful, you know, place for us to get together. And next month I'm a board member, and we're having our heritage celebration, you know, to celebrate those men and women who put it together. I mean, it's a really, really cool and unique thing to have right here in my backyard.
I love it. Oh, that's great. And maybe you guys can do a Instagram live together when you're down hosting Teri. So I do love this final slide that we just showed, and that is the original artwork by Dawn Trimble, the abstract artist from Atlanta, who is so talented. And we love featuring Black artists of a different medium in Black Flora too. So,
but I wanted to say thank you to everyone that was a part of this book journey. It was hard. If you know someone that is becoming a writer, bear with them. Have mercy on them, have patience with them, and love them up a lot. It's not an easy task, but it also is very rewarding. Everyone along this journey, whether they were here today or not, I consider them family now, and it's gonna grow. This is gonna grow from Black Specialty Flower Group to the Black Girl Florist Conference that's at the end of this month, and we'll share more about that later. All the people in the book prayerfully will be on my podcast. You can purchase the book from Bloom Imprint. And if you don't see it at your local botanic garden, tell them about the book. Tell them they need to carry it, because we are important. And honestly, for all my specialty flower farmers, growers, florists, stylists, we are enough.
I love it, Teri. Teri, This was a magical experience. It was hard, and we're happy to have that payoff of a beautiful book to hold in our hands, right?
Yeah. And Deborah, I want to thank you because when you really think about it, nobody reached out for us to do this until you came along. So I do appreciate you and respect you for that. And thank you for allowing us really to share what needs to be shared. Long overdue. And thank you.
Oh, it was a privilege. And I did it for my children who are brown, who needed to see that there is so much representation in our profession, and we just had to celebrate it and highlight it. So, yeah, I'm going to make them into gardeners someday. I don't know. They're living the dream in Brooklyn, but they're going to be gardeners in the future, I hope. But this has been
planted. You planted the seed.
It's so true. Yeah. This has been so beautiful. I just thank everyone in the Slow Flowers community for coming on today and helping honor Teri and her work and all of the creatives in our flower world, because you're all an inspiration. And we will do a drawing and let people know who won their copies of the books. But of course, you can always order them. And Teri has a full appearance schedule, some online, some in person, that you can follow her on Instagram, and she's also going to be adding a calendar to her website. So we'll try to repost all of that, Teri, when it's available. Yes. But you're making the rounds mainly on the Eastern Seaboard, but you've got a lot of virtual things that are national.
Yes. I'm blooming. Imagine that. Imprint.
I love it. You're thanks for that. And you all just cherish what you've learned here today. And for anyone who is wanting to see change in the representation and inclusion in their floral community, it can start with you. Just making one contact and introducing yourself, talking about plants. It's the way to connect with each other. And we really would love to have more than one Black Flora book, because there were a lot of people who got left out of this book, and there's a few more books that have to be written. Thanks everybody. What a great session, and we'll see you next month. Thanks to all you creatives for joining us.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye, Teri. Thanks so much. Take care.
You're welcome.
Wow, that was so beautiful. I thank you for joining our conversation. I love what Teri wrote in her introduction to Black Flora. She wrote, "Younger generations of Black plant lovers are seeking inspiring examples of successful floral artists and entrepreneurs when they see their potential through representation of people who look like them in farming and floristry. The possibilities of the future enable their dreams." I love it. Thank you so much. You can order your copy of Black Flora at bloomimprint.com, or find it via any online bookseller, or ask your independent local bookseller to order it for you. Now, thanks to our sponsors, this show is brought to you by slowflowers.com, the free online directory to more than 880 florists, shops, and studios who design with local, seasonal, and sustainable flowers, and to the farms that grow those blooms. It's the conscious choice for buying and sending flowers. Thank you to our lead sponsor, returning for 2022, Farm Girl Flowers. Farm Girl Flowers delivers iconic burlap wrap bouquets and lush, abundant arrangements to customers across the U.S., supporting U.S. flower farms by purchasing more than $10 million of U.S.-grown, fresh, and seasonal flowers and foliage annually. Discover more at farmgirlflowers.com. Thank you to Mayesh Wholesale Florist. Family owned since 1978, Mayesh is the premier wedding and event supplier in the U.S., and we're thrilled to partner with Mayesh to promote local and domestic flowers, which they source from farms large and small around the U.S. Learn more at mayesh.com. Thank you to Gardener's Workshop, which offers a full curriculum of online education for flower farmers and farmer florists. Online education is more important this year than ever, and you'll want to check out the course offerings at thegardenersworkshop.com. And thank you to Details Flower Software, a platform specifically designed to help florists and designers do more and earn more. With an easy-to-use system that's elegant, Details is here to improve profitability, productivity, and organization for floral businesses of all shapes and sizes. Grow your bottom line through professional proposals and confident pricing with details all in one platform. All friends of the Slow Flowers Show will receive a 7-day free trial of Details Flowers software. Learn more at detailsflowers.com. Well, the Slow Flowers Show is member supported, and I value our loyal members and supporters. If you're new to our weekly show or our long-running podcast, check out all of our resources at slowflowerssociety.com and consider making a donation to sustain Slow Flowers' ongoing education, advocacy, and outreach activities. You can find the donate button in the column to the right at slowflowerspodcast.com. I'm Deborah Prinzing, host and producer of the Slow Flowers Show and podcast. Next week, you're invited to join me putting more slow flowers on the table, one stem, one vase at a time. The content and opinions expressed here are either mine alone or those of my guests alone, independent of any podcast sponsor or other person, company, or organization. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I'll see you next week.